Y'all go ahead and fasten your sofa seatbelt because things are getting ready to get good in the Daybell case. Now Rob Wood has brought on additional help. Her name is Rachel Smith and she's bringing the big guns to the fight. Now we're going to talk about what's going on, some of the parts of the hearing that took place today that I think is interesting, as well as what do we think is coming down the pipeline, because I don't think that this was all just for nothing. Okay, so East Idaho News recently released a letter that Rob Wood penned on March 16th. Now this letter was basically his reasonings for wanting to bring Rachel Smith into the fold of this case. The Daybell case is what we're talking about. And I'm going to put a link in the description below if you want to read that letter in its entirety. Now in the letter, Rob Wood was outlining, obviously who is Rachel Smith, what is her background, what is her experience, that type thing. Now it's just that right there that had a lot of us going, interesting. Rachel Smith sounds like a very accomplished person in her field. Now she is currently licensed in Missouri where she practices, and she does all sorts of different things, and Rob Wood will outline these in this letter. Now Rob Wood will write that she has 25 years of experience. She has prosecuted thousands of felony cases, over 100 homicide and death penalty cases. She's also an adjunct professor and a clinical co-director for the Washington University School of Law. Now the whole reasoning that Rob has written this letter and filed this motion and the hearing that we are going to talk about is he's wanting to bring her in under pro hac vice. Now what this is basically on this occasion or for this event, and essentially all this is he's bringing her in from a different state where she can help in his jurisdiction to work on this specific case. Now Rob will go over some of the reasons in this letter that he writes as to why he wants to bring her in, and again we're going to talk about what the Sofa Squad's thinking and what I'm thinking, because he doesn't really spell that out in this letter, but we wouldn't expect him to. I think it just speaks for itself, the action of her coming on. But anyway, some of the reasons that he cites are as follows. Rob Wood writes in his letter, he wants to be able to get assistance with cases, with charges that all come resulting from the behaviors of the defendants in regards to their behaviors with Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow. Hello. That speaks for itself. Now he also cites reasons of just pure simple manpower, having somebody else to come in for a case like this that is huge for this area, for him, for this office. So having this additional help, obviously her experience and all that is going to play a role in probably what's to come down the pipeline. Now, one of the last things that he writes in this letter is he's basically saying look, her legal expertise, her teaching experience, all this stuff, even though we have a great staff here, we all, we got our game down, it's going to help us to learn from watching her, from learning from her, how to handle any other kind of complex situations that come up. Now, Pryor will have issue with that when we get to the hearing. And in fact, speaking of the hearing, let's go ahead and fast forward there. So Monday, March 21st, we started the week off right. Now they were having a hearing March 21st, Monday. It was kind of low key. We were like, what's this going to be about? But most people were kind of guessing it's probably about the situation with Rachel Smith. They get on there. Yes, it is. Now, another thing that was interesting is so many of us were like, oh, it's going to be nothing. I mean, I called that too. I was like, they're going to do, a breakout session. We're not going to see anything. I was shocked when they had a little hearing out for us to see. Now, they did have a little housekeeping session, as the judge would say, prior to us, seeing their little hearing about the pro hac vice. But regardless, I was surprised to be able to see the whole thing at all, and I was happy that we did because we got to learn some more information. Now Judge Boyce comes on and he confirms that yes, this is what we're doing. This is about the pro hac vice. It's going to be Mark Means, it's going to be John Pryor, and it's going to be Ron Wood, and a special guest who will show her face later. So the judge does have some questions and concerns about some of the aspects to be able to admit Rachel under the pro hac vice. And so one of the first things he's going to bring up is look, what? She has to have an ongoing practice, where she's coming from, basically. And so the judge is like, so what's up? We need to see proof of this. Rob Wood will say, yes, she does, and he'll cite her experience for the St. Louis Prosecuting Office, as well as the Attorney General's office in Missouri. He will also say that she has a private practice, and that a lot of what she does is special prosecuting, and that she is in good standing with the state of Missouri. Now, the secondary issue that will come up for the judge judge is he's going to be like, look, you know what, Mr. Wood, you are the special prosecutor for Fremont County. We want to make sure that you have talked with them. You've gotten permission, basically, to bring her into the situation here. Now, to this, Rob Wood will say, you know what, I haven't consulted with them yet. And now, what's also interesting is during this time, John Pryor's like, Now, when the judge moves his questioning to John Pryor to be like, Mr. Pryor, do you have any issues or concerns? Now, Pryor will tell the judge, he's like, I'm glad to see that you were astute enough to recognize the problems that I saw too. Now, the first thing that John Pryor is going to say is he's like, look, this is a Fremont County case. He's like, you know what, you can't hire this person or bring this person on and be like, you're going to work on all our cases. You're going to teach us how to do A, B, and C. You're going to make our coffee. You're going to drive our cars. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You might go to the dog. You know, he's like, we ain't having all that. Now, eventually Pryor is like, look, you know what, I don't have a problem with any of this stuff, but as long as she's being brought in on this case, Fremont County signs off on it. She is doing this case right here. She's not here to teach people stuff. She's not here to go do A, B, and C. She is here what the Pro Hac Vice is intended for, and that alone, that case only. You know, he's like, sure, fine. You know, we can move forward. You know, if Rob Wood needs extra help, I ain't gonna get in his way as long as the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Now, the next part gets interesting because Pryor's like, now another issue I had is this little thing. I was researching Miss Rachel Smith and I ain't finding the right receipts on her. Now, Pryor will say, you know what, my little, you know, sleuthing or whatever you want to call it, it tells me that she is a consulting firm, but she does not have a private practice. Now, another thing that's interesting is during this time, you can see Rob turn to the mysterious guest off screen and smile at them, and you're like, oh, this is gonna get good. Now, John Pryor, again, he goes over this issue that he has with that, and he's basically like, look, I want the damn receipts, okay? I want receipts from Fremont County, and I want receipts from Miss Smith confirming all this stuff, and then we can play ball. And Pryor does say, he's like, look, this isn't so much an objection as it is wanting to get the proper housekeeping done. Now, Rob Wood will come back and he'll say, well, as the special prosecuting attorney, I can prosecute however I want to. And he's like, look, we're not asking Fremont County for money. I'm not getting paid for this, which I thought was a very interesting tidbit. Now, the clincher on it is he goes, well, actually, Miss Smith is sitting right here next to me. You know, do you want her to come up on the video on the Zooms and do, you know, like a verbal declaration, or do we want this in writing? Like, what do y'all want? And the judge is like, bring her on, just bring her on out here. Now, Rachel will say that she's a special prosecutor in a couple of counties in Missouri, that she does consulting for legal matters and training, and that she has a civil practice that she does. Now, she says that in Missouri, she does not practice criminal law because that would be considered a conflict of interest. Now, with all this, the judge is basically like, you know what, you're good, come on, join the club. Now, in regards to the whole Fremont County thing and how we're gonna do this and that and da, which to me just kind of sounds like, and the judge calls it this, like basic housekeeping 101 for this, but he says, look, when this is done, you need to submit a supplement stating that she has been deputized by your office. And so there's that, the doorways are all open, Rachel's joining the squad. Now, this was a very short hearing, thank God. You know, I was personally thankful. But it was a short hearing. You know, Mark Means was there, but he didn't say anything. This was mostly related, or all related, to Pryor, Daybell, and Rob Wood, and obviously Rachel and the judge. And so I'm curious what y'all think. I mean, I'm going to give you my 2 cents from the sofa. I personally think that the big M charges are on the way. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't be. You know, everything's been kind of like building up, it seems, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we want to bring someone on that has all this experience in cases like that because we think she'd be a good asset to teach us a few things. I just don't think it works that way, okay? I think that they are going to bring her in, they're going to sift through stuff, and they're going to figure out these are the charges we're bringing, and this is how we're doing them, and and so how soon would that be? I don't know. I'm curious to see what y'all think. What do you think of her joining the prosecution? What do you think of her credentials? Do you think that the big M charges are on their way as well? Drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thank you to everybody for watching and being a part of the Sofa Squad. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to see more videos from me about other cases or story time kind of crime cases, then just click some of the stuff that's popping up either here or there. I don't know. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you then.